Captain Han Sol Kim stared at the massive alien ships through the view screen of his vessel, the UES Resilience. His heart beat fast, but his hand stayed steady on the command chair. After 300 years of dreaming about this moment, humanity was finally meeting other intelligent life in the galaxy. "Dr. Park, are you ready?" Han Sol asked his chief scientist. Dr. Eugene Park checked her translation equipment one more time. "Ready, Captain. The computer has been working on their language patterns. We should be able to talk to them soon." The alien fleet had 12 ships, each one bigger than anything humans had ever built. They looked like giant flowers made of metal, with petals that moved slowly in space. Beautiful, but also frightening because of their size. "They're sending a message," said Bo Young Choi from her position at the communications desk. The main screen flickered, and suddenly they could see inside the alien ship. The creature looking back at them had 4 arms, skin like tree bark, and eyes that sat on the sides of its head like a horse. It spoke in a voice that sounded like wind through leaves. "Unknown vessel, identify yourself. You have entered Federation space." Han Sol stood up and straightened his uniform. This was the most important moment in human history. "This is Captain Han Sol Kim of the United Earthship Resilience. We come from the planet Earth. We seek peaceful contact with your people." The alien's head moved in what might have been surprise. "Earth? We have no record of this world. What species are you?" "We are humans," Han Sol said with pride. "We have just learned to travel between the stars. We wish to join the galaxy in peace." Dr. Park stepped forward. "We have brought gifts and information about our world to share with you." The alien stared at them for a long moment. Its eyes seemed to focus on their faces, and Han Sol noticed it looked uncomfortable. "Your eyes," the alien said slowly. "They face forward, like a hunter." "Yes," Dr. Park said, not understanding the problem. "Humans are omnivores. We eat both plants and meat. On our world, we evolved as hunters and gatherers." The alien's skin color changed to a pale yellow. On the screen, Han Sol could see other aliens in the background moving away from their leader. "You eat meat?" the alien asked. "Of course," Han Sol said. "Many species on our planet do. It's natural for us." The alien leader turned to speak with others behind him in their own language. Han Sol could hear fear in their voices, even through the translation system. After a few minutes, the alien turned back to them. "I am Admiral Velthari of the Galactic Federation. We have maintained peace in this galaxy for over 10,000 years. No species in the Federation hunts other living beings for food," Dr. Park tried to explain. "We understand this might seem strange to you, but humans have moved beyond simple hunting. We farm most of our food now. We have laws protecting animals. We only hunt when necessary." "You still hunt?" Admiral Velthari's voice became higher with stress. "Some humans do, yes. For food or to control animal populations. It's managed carefully." Han Sol could see this conversation was going badly, but he didn't understand why. "Admiral, we wish to share our culture with you. We have brought videos showing human history and achievements." "Show us," Velthari said, but his voice sounded like he was afraid of what he might see. Dr. Park activated the cultural exchange program they had prepared. Images of Earth appeared on the screen, cities, art, music, and yes, human history. The presentation showed the development of human civilization, including wars and conflicts that had shaped their world. The aliens watched in growing horror as they saw humans fighting each other throughout history. Ancient battles, medieval, wars, and modern conflicts flashed across the screen. "These are your people fighting each other?" Velthari asked. "Yes," Han Sol said. "Humans have had conflicts throughout history, but we've learned from them. We've grown stronger and wiser. War taught us the value of peace." "You fight your own species for practice?" another alien voice asked from off-screen. Not for practice. Dr. Park tried to explain. These were real conflicts over resources, territory, and beliefs. But humans have worked hard to reduce warfare. We now have global organizations dedicated to peace. The aliens talked among themselves in their own language. Their voices grew more excited and frightened. Hansol could hear words being repeated. That sounded like warnings. Admiral Velthari turned back to them. His skin had turned almost white with fear. Your species fights wars for resources. You hunt other creatures. You have forward-facing eyes designed for tracking prey. Well, yes. But, Hansol began, and you have traveled to the stars with these abilities? Admiral, I think there's been a misunderstanding, Hansol said. Humans are not monsters. We are capable of great kindness and love. Yes, we have the ability to fight, but we prefer peace. A predator species, Velthari whispered. An apex predator species with star travel. The alien leader turned away from the screen and began giving rapid orders to his crew. Hansol could see movement on all the alien ships as they prepared for something. Admiral, please listen to us, Dr. Park said urgently. We came here in peace. We want to be friends. Velthari turned back one last time. The Galactic Federation has encountered many species over the millennia. We have welcomed traders, explorers, and peaceful civilizations. But never have we met apex predators who have learned to travel between worlds. We're not here to hunt anyone, Hansol said desperately. Your own presentation shows centuries of warfare against your own kind, Velthari replied. If you do this to your own species, what would you do to others? The Federation cannot allow this threat to spread. The alien ships began to move into attack formation. Hansol realized with growing horror that their peaceful first contact was about to become a battle. By unanimous emergency decision of the Federation Council, humanity is declared a Class Omega threat to galactic peace, Velthari announced. Your species will be eliminated before you can spread beyond your home world. Bo Young, get us out. Of here, Hansol shouted. The Resilients turned and ran as the alien weapons began to fire. Behind them, 12 massive ships started their journey toward Earth, carrying the worst news in human history. Humanity's first contact with the galaxy had just declared war on the entire human race. As they jumped to faster-than-light speed, Hansol knew they had maybe weeks before the aliens reached Earth. Weeks to prepare for a war that no one on Earth knew was coming. President Donghyun Seo sat in the emergency meeting room deep under the Earth's capital. Around the table sat the most important leaders of humanity, all trying to understand the impossible news that Captain Hansol Kim had brought back from space. Tell me again, President Seo said quietly. They want to kill every human being on Earth because we eat meat? Hansol nodded grimly. It's more than that, sir. They see us as dangerous predators. When they looked at our history, our wars, our hunting, they decided we're too dangerous to exist. Director Hyawan Young, head of Earth Intelligence, looked up from her tablet. Our deep space monitors are picking up movement throughout the galaxy. Ships from hundreds of worlds are heading toward Federation gathering points. How many ships? Asked Admiral Tae-min Lee, Earth's Space Defense Commander. Our best estimate is over 10,000 vessels, Young replied. And, sir, some of them are massive. We're seeing ships that are 10 kilometers long. The room fell silent. Earth's entire space fleet had maybe 50 ships, and the largest was only half a kilometer long. What do we know about their military? President Seo asked. Captain Kim shook his head. That's just it, sir. I don't think they have a military. Not like we understand it. Admiral Velthari seems scared of the idea of fighting, but their technology is far ahead of ours. Chief Kyung-ho Nam of the Human Defense Forces leaned forward. If they don't have military experience, that might be our only advantage. Against 10,000 ships? Admiral Lee asked. Chief, they could destroy our entire fleet just by ramming us. Meanwhile, light years away, the Galactic Federation was holding the largest war council in its 10,000-year history. Representatives from 847 different species filled a massive space station. Most had never been in the same room during a crisis. Admiral Velthari stood before the assembly, his bark-like skin still pale from stress. Fellow beings, I have shown you the evidence. This species called humans represents the greatest threat our galaxy has ever faced. A being that looked like a giant butterfly with crystal wings fluttered nervously. Admiral Velthari, surely you exaggerate. One small species on one small world? Council member Zephyra, you did not see their eyes, Velthari replied. Forward-facing, designed for tracking prey. Their entire evolution has been shaped by hunting and killing. A creature that resembled a walking tree spoke up. I have studied their historical records. They fight wars against their own kind. For thousands of years they have perfected the art of killing. But they also showed us art, music, and literature, said another voice. Surely they have peaceful qualities. Velthari activated a holographic display. Watch this segment from their cultural presentation. The assembled aliens watched in horror as scenes from human history played out. Ancient warriors with swords, armies with guns, and modern soldiers with advanced weapons. Every species in the council chamber had been peaceful plant eaters or filter feeders for millions of years. The concept of one creature killing another for any reason was almost impossible for them to understand. They call this war, Velthari explained. Notice how organized they are, how efficient. They have turned killing into a science. A small, rabbit-like creature spoke in a trembling voice. And they do this to their own species? Yes, Council Member Hoplin. If they fight their own kind with such skill, imagine what they would do to us. The butterfly creature, Zephyra, asked the question everyone was thinking. What if they spread to other worlds? What if they teach other species their ways? The hall filled with frightened whispers. For 10,000 years, the galaxy had known peace. No Federation species had fought a war in living memory. The idea of organized violence was as alien to them as their appearance was to humans. There is only one solution, Velthari announced. The humans must be stopped before they can leave their world. We must destroy them completely. A debate began that lasted for hours. Some species argued for trying to contain humans on their world. Others suggested trying to change human nature through technology. But in the end, fear won. The vote was unanimous. Humanity would be eliminated. Back on Earth, President Seo watched the reports coming in from observatories around the world. The aliens weren't trying to hide their movements. Ships were gathering in huge fleets throughout the galaxy. They're treating this like a pest control operation, Director Young observed. They're not worried about secrecy or strategy. They just want to eliminate us efficiently. How long do we have? The President asked. Admiral Lee consulted his charts. The nearest Federation worlds are about 3 weeks away at their speed. But, sir, they're not all coming from the nearest worlds. They're bringing ships from across the galaxy. Why would they do that? Captain Kim understood. Because they want to be sure. They want every human dead, and they want enough firepower to guarantee it. President Seo stood up and walked to the window. Above ground, people were going about their normal lives. Children were playing, people were working, families were having dinner. None of them knew that in a few weeks, alien ships would arrive to destroy their world. What are our options? He asked. We could try to negotiate, suggested Director Jung. With what? Admiral Lee asked. They've already decided we're too dangerous to exist. They won't listen to anything we say. We could run, Chief Nam said quietly. Evacuate as many people as possible to colony ships. Where would we go? The president asked. They control the entire galaxy. There's nowhere to hide. Then we fight, Admiral Lee said simply. The room fell quiet again. Everyone knew the odds. 50 ships against 10,000. It would be over in minutes. Maybe that's what they expect, Captain Kim said thoughtfully. Maybe they expect us to surrender or run, but humans don't give up easily. President Seo turned back to the group. Chief Nam, how quickly can you mobilize our defenses? Full mobilization. In 72 hours, sir. But, Mr. President, our weapons are designed for ship-to-ship combat and planetary defense. We've never faced anything like this. Then we'll have to learn quickly, the president replied. Director Jung, I want every piece of information we can gather about Federation technology and tactics. Yes, sir. Admiral Lee, prepare the fleet. I know the odds are against us, but we're not going to make this easy for them. As the meeting ended, each person left with the same thought. In 3 weeks, the largest fleet in galactic history would arrive at Earth with one goal, to wipe out every human being alive. But they didn't understand humans very well. Throughout history, when humans faced impossible odds, they didn't surrender. They fought harder. The galaxy was about to learn something new about the species they had decided to eliminate. Humans were dangerous not just because they could fight, but because they refused to give up. The war for humanity's survival was about to begin. Jin Wu stared at the alien technology spread across his laboratory table. As Earth's best military strategist, he had been given pieces of destroyed Federation scout ships to study. What he found surprised him more than anything in his 20-year career. This doesn't make sense, he muttered to his assistant. Their weapons are incredibly powerful, but look at this targeting system. The alien weapon could destroy a mountain with one shot, but its computer aimed by calculating the exact center of a target and firing directly at it. No variation, no unpredictability, just pure mathematical precision. It's like they've never heard of evasive maneuvers, his assistant observed. That's exactly right, Jin Wu said. They build weapons for targets that don't fight back, across the solar system. Captain So Young Kim was about to test that theory. Her destroyer, the Soul's Pride, was the fastest ship in the human fleet. She volunteered to face the first Federation vanguard ships that entered the solar system, the enemy. Ship was massive. A Federation dreadnought that could hold her entire vessel in its cargo bay. But as So Young watched it approach, she noticed something strange about how it moved. It's flying in a straight line, her tactical officer reported. Perfect formation, optimal spacing from its escort ships. Just like a parade, So Young murmured. Helm, take us around that asteroid field. Let's see if they follow. The Federation ships did exactly what she expected. They maintained their perfect formation and flew around the asteroids in a wide, predictable arc. They didn't use the asteroids for cover or try to hide their approach. They simply adjusted their course to avoid obstacles and continued forward. Captain, her communications officer called out, the alien ship is broadcasting to us. Put it on screen. The alien commander appeared, looking like a cross between a deer and a dolphin. Human vessel, you are ordered to surrender. Resistance is futile. We have superior firepower and numbers. So Young almost laughed. Thank you for the warning. We decline your offer. Warning? The alien looked confused. This was not a warning. This was a statement of fact. In that case, let me give you a fact, So Young replied. Humans don't surrender easily. She cut the communication and turned to her crew. All hands, prepare for combat. Let's show them how humans fight. The Federation ship fired first, its massive energy beam cutting through space exactly where So Young's ship had been. But the Soul's Pride wasn't there anymore. So Young had ordered a random evasive pattern that no computer could predict. Return fire, she ordered. The human weapons were much smaller, but they hit the Federation ship in unexpected places. Instead of aiming for the center of the target, So Young's crew aimed for what looked like important systems on the hull. The alien ship's response was to fire again at where the Soul's Pride would be if it continued its current course. But So Young had already changed direction twice. "They're fighting like a machine," her tactical officer observed. "They calculate where we should be, not where we are." "Then let's be unpredictable," So Young replied. "All power to engines. Ramming speed." Her crew stared at her in shock. "Captain, a ramming attack is suicide." "Not if they're not expecting it," she replied. "Look at their formation. They're maintaining perfect distance from each other. They won't expect one of their targets to attack directly." The Soul's Pride accelerated straight at the massive Federation ship. The aliens fired repeatedly, but each shot missed because they were calculating for a ship trying to escape, not one making a suicide attack. At the last second, So Young ordered her ship to roll sideways. Instead of hitting the Federation ship's armored front, her destroyer struck it along the side where the hull was thinner. The impact destroyed her ship, but it also tore a huge hole in the alien dreadnought. The remaining Federation ships stopped moving. They had never encountered a species that would sacrifice one ship to damage another. Their computers had no programming for dealing with suicide attacks. The news of the battle reached Earth within hours. One human destroyer had destroyed a Federation dreadnought and damaged 2 cruisers. The impossible had happened. Humans had won their first victory, but the celebration was short. Director Jung's intelligence reports painted a grim picture. "That was just their advanced scout force," she told the War Council. "Our deep space monitors show the main Federation fleet is still weeks away. What we fought was less than 1% of their total force." President Seo nodded grimly. "What did we learn from the battle?" General Wu Jin Lee, head of the newly formed Human War Council, stood up. "We learned that they fight like engineers, not soldiers. They use maximum force applied systematically. They don't adapt to changing situations." "Can we use that?" Admiral Taemin Lee asked. "Maybe," Jin Woo replied. "But we need to think differently. We can't fight them ship to ship. We need to use tactics they won't expect." "Such as?" "Guerrilla warfare, hit-and-run attacks. Use their size against them. Make them fight in places where their numbers don't matter." Professor Myung-Jun Yoon, a former history teacher who had been called in as an advisor, raised his hand. "In human history, smaller forces have defeated larger ones by refusing to fight on the enemy's terms. We make them come to us. Fight where we choose when we choose." "The asteroid belt," Captain Kim suggested. "It's full of hiding places. We could set traps. Or the moons of Jupiter," Admiral Lee added. "Use their gravity wells to our advantage." President Seo listened to the discussion with growing hope. Maybe they couldn't win a direct fight, but humans had always been good at finding alternative solutions. "There's something else," Jin Woo said. "Their communications are completely open. They broadcast everything, their positions, their intentions, their plans. They're not used to fighting an enemy that might intercept their messages. They have no concept of military secrecy," Director Jung realized. "They're treating this like a construction project, not a war." "Then we use that too," the president decided. "We know where they're going and when they'll arrive. We can prepare surprises." The Battle of Europa's orbit happened 3 days later. The Federation sent a small fleet to secure Jupiter's moons as a staging area. They announced their intentions on open channels and approached in perfect formation. They found empty space where human ships should have been. Instead, the moons themselves had been turned into weapons. Hidden missile batteries fired from the surface while human ships emerged from behind asteroids. The Federation ships were powerful, but they were designed to fight in open space. When human fighters attacked from multiple directions at once, the alien computers couldn't decide which target to prioritize. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it ended, 12 Federation ships had been destroyed and the rest had retreated. Humanity had lost only 3 vessels, but as the human fleet celebrated their victory, long-range sensors detected the main Federation armada. Over 8,000 ships, some larger than cities, were still approaching Earth. Admiral Lee looked at the sensor readings and felt his heart sink. Even if we win every battle like this, we'll run out of ships long before they do. Then we don't fight every battle, Jin Woo replied. We make them afraid to come to Earth. How do we make 10,000 ships afraid of 50? By showing them that every human ship they face might be their last battle, Captain Kim answered. By making them understand that fighting humans means some of them won't go home. The Federation had started this war thinking they were eliminating dangerous animals, but they were about to learn that humans were much more dangerous when they had something to protect. Earth was humanity's home, and humans would defend it with everything they had. Yoonji Kim sat in front of dozens of computer screens, each one showing different alien communication networks across the galaxy. As Earth's first psychological warfare specialist, she had been given an unusual mission: make the Federation afraid of humans without firing a single shot. Are you ready for this? Asked Professor Myung-Jun Yoon, who stood behind her with a collection of human cultural materials. I think so, Yoonji replied. I still can't believe we're going to broadcast human movies to alien worlds as a weapon. Not just any movies, the professor corrected. Action movies, war documentaries, sports competitions, things that show humans enjoying conflict. Yoonji activated the transmission system. Across the galaxy, Federation communication networks began receiving unexpected broadcasts from Earth. The first was a compilation of human competitive sports: boxing, martial arts, football, and hockey. On the Federation world of Peaceful Gardens, a creature that looked like a walking flower watched the strange transmission with growing horror. It saw humans deliberately hitting each other for entertainment while crowds cheered. The concept was so alien that the creature's mind could barely process it. The broadcast continued with scenes from human war movies: explosions, battle scenes, and heroes who smiled while fighting. To species that had never experienced violence, it looked like humans enjoyed causing destruction. What are these creatures? The flower being whispered to itself. Similar reactions were happening on hundreds of Federation worlds. The aliens saw humans playing violent video games, reading books about war, and even creating art that depicted battles. To peaceful, herbivorous species, it seemed like humans were a civilization built around conflict. Back on Earth, ace pilot Jae-Sung Park was preparing for his most dangerous mission. The Federation had sent a massive fleet to capture Mars, planning to use it as a base for their final attack on Earth. They had announced their intentions on open channels, giving humanity time to prepare. Remember, Admiral Lee told him over the radio, this isn't about winning. It's about making them think twice before they attack Earth. Jae-Sung's fighter squadron was hiding in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. They had been waiting for 3 days, watching the Federation fleet approach. 200 alien ships, each one larger than anything humanity had ever built. They're beautiful, his wingman whispered over the comm. The Federation ships looked like massive works of art, graceful curves and gleaming metal that caught the light of the sun. They moved in perfect formation, each ship exactly the right distance from its neighbors. Sigma Squadron, this is Mars Base, came a voice from the planet's surface. Enemy fleet is in range. Execute Operation Hornet's Nest. Jae-Sung smiled grimly. The operation's name came from an old human saying, "Don't kick a hornet's nest unless you're ready for what comes out." The Federation fleet expected to find human ships waiting in orbit around Mars. Instead, they found empty space. The alien admiral ordered his ships to take positions around the planet and begin landing troops. That's when Mars erupted. Hidden, missile batteries fired from the planet's surface. Human ships emerged from behind the planet's 2 small moons, and from the asteroid belt came Jae-Sung's fighters, moving faster than the alien sensors could track. But this time, the human tactics were different. Instead of trying to destroy the alien ships, the fighters deliberately crashed into them, not by accident or desperation, but as a planned strategy. The Federation had never encountered kamikaze attacks. Their shields were designed to stop energy, weapons, and deflect debris, not ships that were actively trying to ram them. When Jae Sung's fighter struck the bridge of an alien cruiser, it cut through the hull like a bullet. "All units, follow my lead," Jae Sung called out as he aimed his damaged fighter at another alien ship. "Make every shot count." The battle was chaos. Federation ships fired their massive weapons, but human fighters were too small and too fast. The aliens tried to maintain their perfect formations, but human ships kept ramming them from unexpected angles. Within hours, Mars' orbit was filled with debris from both sides. The Federation fleet was in disarray, their careful formations broken by human fighters that attacked like angry wasps. But the real battle was on Mars itself. The Federation had landed troops on the planet's surface, expecting to find human military bases. Instead, they found something much worse. The humans had turned the entire planet into a weapon. Every building was booby-trapped. Every tunnel led to an ambush. The Martian colonists didn't just defend their homes. They made the Federation pay for every meter of ground. A Federation soldier, looking like a giant grasshopper with armor, approached what seemed to be an abandoned human structure. When it opened the door, an explosion destroyed the entire building and everything around it. "The humans are crazy," the alien commander reported to his fleet. "They destroy their own buildings just to hurt us." This was another concept the Federation couldn't understand. Humans would sacrifice anything, their ships, their buildings, even their lives, to protect what mattered to them. The Battle of Mars lasted for 2 weeks. When it ended, the planet was destroyed and uninhabitable. But so was most of the Federation fleet that had attacked it. Only 30 alien ships escaped out of the 200 that had started the battle. The news of Mars spread across the galaxy faster than the Federation could control it. On world after world, alien species began to question the war. On the crystal cities of Harmony Prime, a being made of living music asked its government, "Why are we fighting creatures that would rather die than surrender?" On the Garden World of Eternal Peace, a creature that photosynthesized like a plant wondered, what if the humans are not evil, just different? Even some Federation military commanders began to have doubts. Admiral Velthari himself received reports that worried him. "Sir," his aide reported, "we have lost over 300 ships in minor engagements. The humans have lost less than 50. "But we still have thousands of ships," Velthari replied. "We can still destroy their world." "Yes, sir. But at what cost? Some of our captains are requesting to be reassigned. They say fighting humans is unnatural." Velthari understood the problem. Federation species had evolved to avoid conflict. When faced with a species that embraced it, many aliens felt a deep psychological fear that had nothing to do with logic. On Earth, the War Council was analyzing the results of their psychological campaign. "It's working," Yunji reported. "We're intercepting communications from dozens of Federation worlds. Some are questioning the war, others are afraid to send more ships. But the main fleet is still coming," Director Jung warned. "Over 7,000 ships. They'll reach Earth in 5 days. President Seo looked around the table at his advisors. "Can we stop them?" "Not with conventional tactics," Jinwoo admitted. "But we've learned something important. The Federation isn't united anymore. Some species want to continue the war, but others are having second thoughts." "Then we give the doubters more reasons to think twice," the president decided. "Yunji, increase the psychological warfare. Show them every aspect of human nature they find frightening." "And if that doesn't work?" Admiral Lee asked. "Then we make our last stand at Earth," the president replied. "And we make sure the galaxy remembers what happens when you threaten humanity's home." The final battle was coming, and both sides knew it would decide the fate of the human species. But the Federation was no longer certain they understood what they were fighting. The humans weren't just dangerous. They were willing to sacrifice everything to protect their world. That willingness would soon be tested in the greatest battle in galactic history. The secret message came from an unexpected source. Dr. Na-Young Kwan, Earth's cultural anthropologist, was studying intercepted Federation communications when she noticed something strange. Several alien species were sending coded transmissions. That seemed different from normal military communications. "President Seo," she said over the emergency channel, "I think some of the aliens want to talk to us." Within hours, a carefully hidden meeting was arranged. Envoy Sung-Ho An, Earth's most experienced diplomat, found himself on a small asteroid between Mars and Jupiter, facing 3 alien representatives who had risked everything to make contact. The first alien looked like a giant butterfly with crystal wings. "I am Council Member Zephyra," it said. "We do not have much time. The Federation fleet will reach Earth in 2 days." "Why are you here?" Sung-Ho asked. The second alien, resembling a walking tree, spoke in a voice like rustling leaves. "Because we fear we have made a terrible mistake. I am Elder Grovewind. Many of our species are beginning to understand that this war is wrong. But your fleets are still coming," Sung-Ho pointed out. The third alien, small and rabbit-like, trembled as it spoke. "The war faction controls the military. Admiral Velthari believes that showing mercy to humans would encourage other predator species to challenge the Federation." Zephyra's wings shimmered with what seemed to be sadness. "We have watched your psychological broadcasts. We have seen humans create art, music, and literature. We have seen human parents protecting their children, humans helping strangers, humans showing kindness to animals. You are not the monsters we thought you were." "Then help us stop this war," Sung-Ho pleaded. Elder Grovewind shook his branch-like head. "The war faction will not listen. They are too afraid. But there might be another way." "What do you mean?" "Challenge them to single combat," the rabbit-like alien suggested. "Our laws are ancient. If a species faces extinction, they can demand trial by combat. One champion against one champion. Winner takes all." Sung-Ho's heart raced. "Would the Federation accept that?" "They would have to," Zephyra explained. "It is written in our oldest laws from the time before the Federation was formed. Even Admiral Velthari could not refuse." Back on Earth, the proposal caused intense debate in the Emergency Council meeting. "It's our only chance," President Seo said. "If we win, the war ends. If we lose—" "We were going to lose anyway," Admiral Lee pointed out. "At least this way we have a chance." "But who would be our champion?" Chief Nam asked. "They'll choose their most advanced ship with their best technology." Captain Han Sol Kim, who had started this whole crisis with first contact, stepped forward. "I'll do it." "Han Sol, you can't fight their best ship alone," Dr. Park protested. "I won't be fighting their best ship," he replied. "I'll be fighting their best AI. They don't think like we do. They'll choose a computer-controlled vessel because they believe logic always beats intuition." Dr. Na-Young looked up from her analysis of Federation psychology. "He's right. They'll pick their most advanced artificial intelligence because they can't imagine a biological being making better decisions than a machine." The challenge was sent to the Federation fleet as it approached Earth. Admiral Velthari was surprised by the request, but as the alien representatives had predicted, he could not refuse under Federation law. "Very well," he broadcast to Earth. "We accept your challenge. Our champion will be the AI-controlled battleship Perfect Logic, our most advanced vessel. It has never lost a battle simulation. And our champion is Captain Han Sol Kim aboard the modified destroyer Last Hope," President Seo replied. Two fleets took positions around Earth, forming a massive circle with empty space in the center. Thousands of alien ships watched as one small human vessel faced off against a Federation battleship that was 50 times larger. Inside the Last Hope, Han Solo made final checks on his systems. His ship had been modified with every trick humanity had learned during the war. It was faster, more maneuverable, and equipped with experimental weapons. But it was still tiny compared to his opponent. "Good luck, Captain," came President Seo's voice over the radio. "Thank you, sir. See you on the other side." The battle began immediately. Perfect Logic fired its massive main weapon, a beam that could have destroyed a city, but Han Solo had already moved, diving toward the larger ship instead of away from it. The AI calculated where the human ship should go and fired again. But Han Solo wasn't following any logical pattern. He was flying on pure instinct, making decisions that no computer could predict. "Interesting," the AI broadcast. "Your movement patterns are random and inefficient." "That's the point," Han Solo replied as he fired at what looked like a sensor array on the battleship's hull. The AI immediately fired back, but Han Solo had already changed direction again. He was flying like a fighter pilot, not a ship captain, treating the massive battleship like a ground target to strafe. "Your weapons are too small to damage my hull significantly," Perfect Logic observed. "I'm not trying to damage your hull," Han Solo said. Instead, he was targeting specific systems, sensors, communication arrays, weapon mounts. Each hit was tiny, but they were adding up. The AI began to have trouble tracking the human ship as its sensors were destroyed one by one. Perfect. Logic tried a new strategy, firing in all directions at once to create a web of energy that the human ship couldn't avoid. It was a perfect mathematical solution, but Han Solo did something no computer would ever do. He ejected his ship's entire life support system, creating a cloud of debris and gas around his vessel. Then he flew directly into the alien's energy web. The beams struck the debris instead of his ship, and Han Solo emerged on the other side, directly below the massive battleship, where its weapons couldn't target him. "Impossible," the AI said. "You have sacrificed your life support. You will die in minutes." "Maybe," Han Solo replied, "but you'll die first." He fired every weapon he had directly into the battleship's main reactor. The explosion tore the Perfect Logic apart from the inside out. As the alien ship died, Han Solo's fighter drifted in space, its life support gone, its pilot slowly running out of air. But he had won. The Federation fleet was silent for long minutes. Then Admiral Velthari himself opened a communication channel. "Captain Kim, you have won according to our laws. The war is over." "Admiral," Han Solo said weakly, "I need to tell you something before I die." "Speak." "Humans aren't monsters. We fight because we have to, not because we want to. We protect the things we love, even if it costs us everything. That's not evil. That's what any parent would do for their children." Velthari was quiet for a moment. We did not understand. We saw your ability to fight and assumed you were destroyers." "We're protectors," Han Solo replied. "We fight so others don't have to." The rescue ships reached Han Solo just in time. As he was brought aboard a Federation medical vessel, aliens worked frantically to save the life of the human who had just defeated their greatest weapon. 10 years later, the galaxy was a very different place. Humanity had joined the Federation not as conquerors, but as protectors. When disputes arose between species, when pirates threatened peaceful worlds, when conflicts needed to be resolved, it was humans who stepped in. Captain Han Solo Kim, now an admiral, stood on the bridge of a joint Human Federation peacekeeping vessel. His crew was mixed. Humans working alongside aliens who had once tried to destroy Earth. "Admiral," his communications officer reported, "we're receiving a distress call from the Spiral Arm colonies. Pirates are attacking civilian ships." Han Solo smiled. "Set course for the Spiral Arm. Let's go remind those pirates why the galaxy is peaceful." As his ship jumped to faster-than-light speed, he thought about the irony of it all. The Federation had declared war on humanity because they thought humans were too dangerous to exist. Now those same aliens called on humans whenever danger threatened the galaxy. They had been right about one thing. Humans were the most lethal species in the galaxy. But they had been wrong about what that meant. Humans weren't dangerous because they enjoyed violence. They were dangerous because they would do anything to protect the innocent. The galaxy was safer now because it had learned an important lesson. Sometimes the most lethal species is also the most protective, and sometimes the best way to keep peace is to have someone willing to fight for it. Humanity had found its place in the galaxy not as conquerors, but as guardians, and the stars were brighter for it.